Good morning, ladies and gents. It's Silly coming to you with just a fun project. Now, while there is many YouTubes out there, videos out there doing exactly the same and just putting their own take on it, I just thought I would demonstrate how I actually do my botanical specimen cards. Now, a few of you have seen them, and so I thought I would actually do a tutorial because somebody was quite interested. Now, these are the butterflies that I'm playing around with. Now, I do have presets on my program, which is Paint Shop Pro. I used to teach it many years ago, and I've still got the application program on my computer. So I've been experimenting with it because of copyright and downloading, and I'm thinking, well, it's just too much of a headache for me to produce some, artwork for myself and then possibly later on putting it up on for sale on Etsy. So these are the butterflies I'm actually working with at the moment. Now, these are all preset tubes. So if anyone's familiar with Corel Draw or Paint Shop Pro from probably about 12 years ago, so I still have it. So these are the preset tubes that were actually in the program that I've been using. So then I came across this. How fortunate. These are transparencies for when you're using a overhead projector. Now, it's inkjet, so I'm not quite sure if they'll work on a laser. Now, there is a trick to it, so you'll have to read the instructions. I didn't, so I did too. You do have a strip on the bottom. Now, that's what you actually feed in depending on how your printer works, so it's just trial and error. You only waste a couple of sheets if necessary, and depending on the side that you put it on, because there was one that, where is it? I'm not quite sure where it is. Here it is. I don't think that was part of this because it has a different feeling to it, and unless I printed on the wrong side and it just wiped off. Okay, so we'll just put that back there because it's sort of very hard to see. Okay, so these ones do not rub off. Okay, this is the side that it was printed on, and to show you, this is the back side. And we'll try with just a little wet finger, see what happens. Okay, it smudges. Okay, so bear that in mind. I've let this dry for probably about half an hour, but it was, touchy straight away, probably about 5 minutes after. So they're the butterflies, and I've actually just cut two out. There's one particular one there, and I just did a couple of each, well, there's three of that one. So today I'm going to show you how to turn that into a nice little specimen card. Now, there is a YouTube channel. Now, I've got these paint swatches from my paint store. Now, you could probably make them with any particular cardstock, paint swatch, whatever you've got, birthday cards, Easter cards. Now, what I do with this, because it was the perfect sort of size with the rounded corners, all I did was just folded it in half, and then it gave me a perfect size for the specimen. Now, I've used these to create little fold outs, little mini journal things, flip outs, you name it. Joined three together and made a three-fold little. So the list is endless with what's going on with YouTube at the moment. So there's the result. Okay, and there's the butterfly. Now, they are both on the same. So when you think, you want the specimens to be where you can actually turn it around and see the back side exactly the same. So we'll turn that back around. And all I did was, I'm pretty straight with a Stanley knife, and the size that you'll need to cut out for this would be 2 inches by 2 1/4. So I work in inches. I'm finding it difficult to work in centimetres, but I'm not quite sure how Anyway, if you get an inch ruler and a centimetre ruler like that, it does show you. So it's basically just over 5 centimetres by 5.5 centimetres, if that's correct. So for all the girls that work in centimetres, there we go, just over 5, or just under 5, and just over 5.5. So all I do, now I normally cut a template out of this, so then I've got a permanent template, put a hole in it, and then you can put it with your other templates, which I do have. So I usually just position it where I want to, bearing in mind depending on what you want to put on the bottom. Now I've got these little labels, they're so tiny, tiny, tiny. Now you can type them out on your computer, print them out, or there are some stores on Etsy that do sell them. You can put it to the right, you can put it to the left, you can put it to the bottom, but I wouldn't put it at the top. So this is basically all I do. I'm pretty good a good eye. Grew up with darts, pool, shooting, anything that's got a name. My father used to start us off with big cans, and then, you know, sort of remove the can, then put something smaller, and then put something smaller and smaller until we got down to battery size from however 20 yards away, 30 yards away. So basically that's what we've got there. And I don't worry about a ruler, you can use a ruler. If you've got an actual cutting die, that would be perfect. But I just use my eye. Okay, I don't even have my glasses on. Actually, I'll put my glasses on just to make sure. So there's my friendly neighbour bringing up my rubbish bin. So all I do is I just cut along the line. You can hear the wheels roll. Why is he been? Oh, it could be the next door neighbour. And so, okay, there we go. Yep, just gone a bit too far there, but not to worry, because we can fix that. Okay, so there we go. Okay, sometimes you might have to, like a die, you've got to wriggle it around. Keep those because I'll show you what you can do. There is video on my YouTube channel that shows you turning them into photo slides. Okay, so that's the measurement there. It might be a bit smaller, a bit bigger. And they don't have to be accurate, so just enough so that you've got a wider area down the bottom so you can put a number down. So, and then the next step is, okay, so we've got 2 there, get that ruler out of the way. You've got 3 numbers. Now you can buy these off Etsy, or print your own, make your own, which I do. Then we have all the butterflies. Now, because these are preset tubes, I had to roughly work out the positioning of them, because every time you click the mouse, it just put a butterfly on there. And, you know, if it was a repeating butterfly, I'd go back and 1 step and then click again to make sure that I had different butterflies. So I tried to get 2 of each. So, okay, we'll put you 2 over there. So they're the butterflies that I have besides the 2 cut out. Okay, that's it. So now what we're going to do is, I'm going to need that white bit of paper so you can see. Okay. Yeah, I've seen a comment on Facebook, how come everybody's got the same desktop? A lot of people use like a wood grain wallpaper or something, you know, just for visual sake. I've got a wood grain bench, but I put the placemat on there so we could do some cutting. So then you've got sort of just like an area, and then you've got to work out, it's exactly the same on the other side. So then you've just got to position it to where you actually want it, because that's just the way. So I've got some hanging over. So then the next step is just to glue it all down. I'll go and get some glue. There are many various different types of glues, and you've just got to find out what works for you. Some glues only have a holding time for a little longer, and then you find things start to come undone. So, because we're going to be gluing the whole sides, and it's so expensive. So, and I don't worry about squishing it up because I usually have a in there. So then we sort of like try and position it where we want it. We're going to have an overhang. Okay. So that's just that, and then we just put some more over, so then we can join the two together. Now that's to the left, because obviously I didn't cut it enough for the this stuff. This butterfly worked better actually in it. Yeah, that one there. So that's right in the middle. But it doesn't really matter. And then, you know, and then what you can do is stamp the back. Put that upside down. So basically then next all you do is you're just cutting the transparency to it, you know, so I think that's basically it. So, sorry, my fingers, the ink from the previous butterfly. So then, you know, you've got your number that you can ink up. I won't ink up for time's sake, but if you've got a pair of tweezers, it's pretty handy, especially if you fumble. Okay. So I'm just going to put it to the bit of the left. Okay, so I might as well do this one while we're on camera. It's all tacky. That Elmer's Clear glue is really tacky. It's washable. When I've seen it, I grabbed it. It was at an op shop for 50 cents. I went, whoa, okay, because they're normally quite expensive in Australia. I'm trying to find those needle ones so that, you know, you don't over use your glue. So we're going to put her in the middle. Something's underneath that. Okay. And then just make sure that we've got the glue necessary. Make sure your corners are well sealed. And the glue doesn't seep onto the transparency. My fingers and thumbs this morning. Now you'll find that some glues do warp. Normally I would use a glue stick for this. I did went to grab a glue stick, but I just grabbed the Elmer's glue. Okay. Okay, because that's the glue seeping out. I'm just going to move them for a minute. Ah, a nicer, cleaner page. Okay. Eventually I'll learn how to make the videos a lot better for you, because I've got a lot of great ideas. So, okay, so there we go. We've got 2 specimen cards. All we needed was some paint swatches. You know, you can get the square ones and put the two together, but these were just perfect because they had the rounded edges. There's a number there, A2, so you can even just maybe put something over there you know, just to cover that word, whatever it is, you know, and then you can distress the numbers there and position them where you want to. But there's the back side, and there's the back side, so you can see how what's happening here. I'll have to look at that. Something. Oh yeah. The cuts from another one came. Okay, there we go. That's better. So now we've got two specimen cards, even though that looks, you know, to the left. And you can dress this up and stamp it, or cover it with any sort of like botanical images and paintings and that. So, but not to detract from the actual specimen card itself. So, ladies and gents, I hope that gives you an indication of how easy it is to create your own specimen cards. Like I said, you can either download them off the internet free, with the birds and the butterflies, toadstools, whatever you use. Just be careful that they're not licensed images that have got conditions to them if you're actually selling, say, the specimen cards online like that. So as I get more proficient at it and gives them a more professional look, I'll be selling them in sets of 6. So there'll be variation blues and pinks and, you know, like that blue and the green, you know, so there's quite a few different various butterflies. I've got about 30 of them in all different shapes and colours and designs. So till then, take care and thank you very much for watching, and bye for now.